In the real world, you can pretty much just see as far as you can see. As long as there's a horizon, you can continue to see objects in the horizon, whereas games aren't really given that sort of luxury because in a video game there is a sort of certain amount of space that can actually be allocated in memory to hold virtual objects. So there's sort of a limitation on how much architecture can actually be seen at a given time. Another thing that's very interesting about the architecture of the game is that it always has it's a very sort of broken down architecture. Despite the fact that the architecture is very deliberate, which is to say that the architecture is very directed, and that the architecture gives you a very discrete sense of where it's going and what it's trying to do, which is to say that just by going through these hallways and stuff, that the player is very much directed in certain directions. That the player can simply look around and see, oh, well, I can't go through walls, which is a very common architecture in video games, is using walls to sort of direct player attention, direct player observation and movement. And as a result of that, a lot of the architecture in this game is intentionally limiting. It's basically creating constricted spaces for play. And while you can roll through some parts of the architecture, like in this example, where you can roll through pots, they are solid objects. So despite the fact that I can move through them by using a force, such as that, it doesn't actually allow me to go through them unless I use a movement, use an action to go through them. And this is a very intentional thing in this game. Even though we can't really see that here, we'll venture a little bit further along and we'll sort of see some more of that intentionality.